All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the video after my previous new player's guide. If you watched the previous guide, it should have taken you basically up through where you unlock hard mode. And then once you have unlocked hard mode, you sort of have... What the dog doing? Bruh. Okay. Once you have unlocked hard mode, you basically should be at the point where you can start getting max level items and getting experience and stuff very efficiently. Now, this video will be long, however, I can tell you basically, 2 sentences to keep you on track with something to do to be making progress in the game. And so I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to try to give you a little bit more specifics on it. But if you don't want to listen to the remainder of the video, you don't really need to. The main thing is going to be that if you have story quests available and you can do them, do the story quests. If you are stuck at some point and you aren't able to get more quests, then you are probably limited by your mastery rank. And so you just need to go get more mastery rank and you will be able to do more things. How do you get mastery rank? So you've probably gotten some mastery ranks at this point, just while you were like leveling and playing the game on through the campaign. And then you've had to go over here to the prime hands, and I believe they just teach you all this in the story, which is why it wasn't covered in my guide particularly. And you go over here and you click mastery. Okay. Pretty sure I've done this before, but I guess I need a tutorial for it. Sorry guys, I'm not qualified. So you over here and you do your mastery rank up or whatever. So how have you been getting that experience? Well, I'm going to tell you all the sources on how you get mastery rank or mastery experience, and it is not difficult. It actually only comes from just a couple of sources. So the first place that you can get mastery rank, and this is probably where you've gotten it from, at least a decent amount of it so far as you've been playing the game, is you can get it from missions. I don't think it will show it here for me. Oh, maybe it will. Okay. So the first place where you can get mastery rank is through just doing the missions. However, what you'll notice, and maybe I should go back to the other map, but see where it has 2,000 experience? It's like 12,000 gold, 2,000 experience, 2,000 firearm experience, and then 200 of whatever that, it's like a thumbprint or something. I don't really know what that is. That, I believe, is the mastery experience. However, you'll notice that there's a recurring theme with that. You can only get mastery experience on a mission one time. So I'm pretty confident I've done this mission before on hard mode. And so, I mean, I could just go test this, but I'm fairly confident I've done this one on hard mode to get the Sharon Spiral Catalyst. And you'll notice that it doesn't have that like little 200 thing there. That, I'm pretty sure, is the mastery XP. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to go back through the entire story and do every mission on hard mode, because you'll notice 200 XP per mission is not very much in the grand scheme of things when you need like 230,000, right? So I don't think you need to go back through and do all of the missions on hard mode. I would, in fact, not recommend it because you'll probably lose your sanity. Just going through them once on normal mode was probably fine. The other place where you get mastery experience is whenever you gain a proficiency level on a firearm, and this counts for rare, common, so like the blue ones, blue, purple, and yellow or ultimate firearms. They give mastery experience corresponding to the quality of the weapon and the level, or the proficiency level, which that's totally irrelevant, I guess, but it basically just know that it is the quality of the weapon. So if you were to take a blue weapon from proficiency level 1 to 40, I think you get something like 8,000 mastery XP. But if you were to take like and this is in a spreadsheet somewhere, it's just totally irrelevant because all you need to know is like what to focus on. But I think if you were to take like a purple one from 1 to 40, you get like 30,000 mastery experience, so quite a bit more. And then I think if you take an ultimate one from 1 to 40, you get like 70,000 experience or something like that. Now, when you take it from 1 to 40, you only get that experience one time. So if you are to prestige your gun, for instance, if you were working on Restored Relic Launcher, like I had in my first video, and you decided to reset it by assigning a socket type. So you click on one of these, click that, and click apply socket. It'll take the proficiency down to 1 again. But if you were to level it back up to 40, you will not get that experience again. So you don't need to do this a bunch of times to farm experience. You actually have to level a different gun that you have not leveled before. So basically what that looks like then, you'll see in like some people's inventories, and I hopefully have an example that I can show you, is that you'll notice that people have a whole bunch of guns in there. So you'll see that I have pretty much every single like rare, or whatever these are called. Yeah, they are called rare. Pretty much like every single rare firearm in here, along with the ultimates, and they're all proficiency level 40. So that is because I have done that to get mastery experience on those different firearms. Now, you can see I also haven't done it for all of the blue ones because I'm lazy, is the only real reason. The highest mastery rank in the game that you can get right now is mastery rank 31. And I know exactly where I'm missing experience. It's in some of the missions, it's in the blue firearms, and then I don't have 2 descendants leveled yet. And so the same thing for mastery experience goes with the descendants. Fantastic. We just have the narrator in the background now. All right, cool. Just ignore him. I'll bring this up so that way you can't hear him. So the other thing is the descendants. So the descendants work the exact same way as the firearms. You get mastery experience for the regular version of the descendant and the ultimate version of the descendant. And the regular version gives less mastery experience than the ultimate version. You just need to level that character from 1 to 40 one time without prestiging them at all, and that is the most mastery you can get out of that character. Prestiging them back to level 1 will not yield any more mastery experience. So if you are ever looking for a place to get more mastery experience, just go find a descendant that you haven't leveled, which may be tough as a new player, or a gun that you haven't leveled, and simply work on getting it from 1 to 40 one time. If you are doing those things, you will be continually gaining mastery experience, and I believe that the cap for the amount of a mastery experience that you will need to unlock every piece of content in the game. So for all of the missions, I believe it is mastery rank 18. And for Ancestor modules, I would have to look, but I think it's like 20 or 25 is the highest. I'll walk over there really quick and see if I can find that out. Okay, it used to be 30, I can say with confidence, but I believe they reduced it because there really was no reason to have the Ancestor mods take. She's stuck in time. Okay. Let's see if it allows me to see it here. All descendants, socket types. Okay, it won't show me, but I mean, there's one. Okay, so it's 25 then. That was really fast for me to look. I know it's not 30 anymore, so it looks like they dropped it down to 25. So there will be Ancestor mods, and I'll describe how you can get Ancestor mods, what to do daily to get, and weekly to get those. But there are Ancestor mods that will be higher mastery rank than you, and you will not be able to equip them. However, I believe, like I said, all of the content in the game is unlocked by mastery rank 18. And it also doesn't really unlock in a logical order. So we will go over that though. However, I want to go kill Wall Crasher, so I'm going to pause the video and you'll see me pick it back up from another spot. So basically there is 3 important mastery ranks to watch out for, and that is 13, 15, and 18. I believe that once you have 18, that you can do every content type in the game. The only thing that you would be restricted from would be doing some of, or equipping some of the Ancestor mods. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about each of the content types and some of the things that you should be able to do shortly after you have unlocked hard mode, and then give some recommendations on which ones I think are useful, I guess. But understand that basically at any given time, you're probably going to be looking to do something to try to unlock either a new weapon or a new descendant until you are at least mastery rank 18, possibly up to 25. And this is sort of going to be just like intermingled with what you need to do to level everything up, and you will need catalysts for that. So you will probably at points take breaks to go farm the materials to get catalysts. You can farm 10 of them in about 1 to 2 hours, and 10 of them is enough to basically like fully unlock the potential of a weapon or a character. Now, I'm not going to go particularly over the exact best method to farm them. There's enough guides on YouTube that you can just go look at one of those, and it's still pretty relevant to today, as far as I'm aware. You still just basically get all the stuff in the same capacity. I will briefly try to go over it. There is an important descendant that you may want to get if you are given, or farm or early, if you are given a like descendant selection box, which is very likely if you are joining the game during or around any event. They look like this. I had about 12 of them until the other day, and then I just like got all the descendants I was missing from them because I wanted to pick up some mastery rank. I say the other day, but realistically it was like months ago. So in here, I believe this caps out at Haley. Yes. So the character that you probably want to pick up from here as a normal character that is useful to have is Enzo. If you decide to take him from this, the alternative is you can try to get Nell. However, I believe that Nell is pretty difficult to get for a new player. And that would be her. The reason for this, let me go over to Enzo, because Enzo is probably the one that's going to be easier for a new player to get. They have a, excuse me. They have a part to their passive. You can see at the bottom. It's kind of like just sitting down there subtly that you might not realize, and that is encrypted storage box. And they give you an increase to the time limit, and they make it easier, and I believe increase the rewards of the encrypted storage boxes. What is an encrypted storage box? So I will show you very fast. Hopefully my game doesn't crash. It's been doing weird things today, and I think it's because I'm trying a different recording method, and I'm not sure that it likes that. So I'm going to go into private mode here. You can do this on hard mode, or you can do this on normal mode. So this is a particular spot that's pretty nice. And what's going to show up on my map is going to be encrypted storage boxes. And I will show you what they look like. You will have seen these while you're leveling, but they're pretty... I don't want to say it's just based on the person. I don't want to say they're tough to do without Enzo or Nell, but I believe that you should focus on doing them with Enzo or Nell because they take a key to unlock. Those keys are limited, and I believe Enzo and Nell give you an increased reward from doing them, even if it doesn't say it on their tooltip for their passive. So I will do one of them for you to demonstrate what they are. And the reason I'm showing you this is because this is part of getting catalysts if you need catalysts. And you will, as you know, at all stages of the game. So there's two up. They look like this. There's going to be a blue one too. So they come in white, blue, and purple. They, you know, are exactly how you would imagine those would give loot. The like white one is the least loot, and the purple one's the best loot. Like most games do with their like quality sliders. So all you have to do is you just go over to them and find them like this. And then, because I'm using Nell, it will make it easier to do it. And you just have to click when it's in that circle, or the highlighted part. Now, if you're not doing it with that character, with Nell or Enzo, it can become a little bit difficult. So you can see, you may not have noticed it because it's right on the edge of the screen, but you can go back and see it. I got 80,000 Kuiper, and I got 14 of this thing. This is these materials. For energy activators and for catalysts, you have to go out and get them in the field from these encrypted storage boxes. And the only other way to get them is to do the Void Vessel, I believe, So that other thing that I was telling you to farm, so you're sort of, it will prevent you from having to go do this, and will also accelerate the pace that you can get your catalyst by also doing that void vessel stuff earlier rather than later. So that is also one of the reasons that I'm sort of recommending one of those characters. But that will be part of farming catalysts. And like I said, I'm not going to tell you the absolute best ways to do it. By the way, just a little lore drop, I guess. To find those encrypted vaults, they used to not be on the map, and you had to like echolocate them using like a weird 3D heads-up display, and it was very, I don't want to say difficult once you got the hang of it, but it was something. It was a choice. We'll go with that. So I'm gonna go over to the library, and I'm gonna see if I can just spitball exactly what stuff is where exactly you get one of these. So this one was from the encrypted storage boxes. So yet again, library is your friend. You can go in here and it's telling you that this comes from, it looks like there's some missions that drop it as well, but it looks like, the encrypted vaults and stuff are going to be the easier way to do it. So they show you Enzo Nell. That's kind of interesting that they tell you that. I guess it's just for one of the two of the boxes. Maybe it's for the precise ones. I'm not sure, but these come from Agnid Desert specifically. The loot that you get from those encrypted vaults is based on the zone that you're in. So you don't have to worry about targeting a particular vault type. You just need to make sure you're in the right zone. These come from a strategic outpost that is in, as it says there, Echo Swamp. I will tell you the best one to go do, because I do actually remember it. It is this one right here. So, and you want to do these, weirdly enough, on normal mode. The mission on normal mode, because for some reason the drop rate on normal mode is higher than the drop rate on hard mode. So basically you just stand right outside this outpost right here and just complete the outpost like 10 million times. It literally takes about 10 seconds to clear. So once you do it for 10 or 15 minutes, you'll have enough to like make 10 catalysts. And then, so I just want you to know how to get these, because this is something that you'll want to do, like I said. These ones come from a particular mission, if I recall. I want to say it's Forgottenance, which is pretty annoying. It looks like, you can also get them from Void Vessel, but basically there is, if Forgottenance is the 400% for the day, so this rotates daily, or just regularly if you want to just go do it, that's where these drop. Unfortunately, it's a dungeon and it takes a while. The best way, if you only want this thing, is to go in until you kill like the first mini boss, basically. He's like in this sort of area where there's a lot of easy places to drop off the map. I know that's kind of vague. I don't want to go and have to show it. You can look it up if you really want to. The best way is to go and kill him and then abort the mission. But you can also just spam run Forgottenance if you want to, either on, I believe, normal or hard mode. I think both are fine for once. I haven't done it in a while because I've done so much Void Vessel, and I just don't need to do it. I have enough for 100 catalysts, as you can see. And then the last piece to getting these things is White Knight Gulch, Borderline of Truth. So this mission in particular, so you can just click it there, and it is this mission. Yet again, you want to run this on normal mode, and you should just be able to go in there with like Freyna or Inez or something like that, or whatever character, and the mini bosses, when you kill them, will drop the brains, and you just do that for a while. Yet again, if you want to do it on hard mode just because you want more experience, or you want to farm reactors, whatever reactor drops there during that time period, because it rotates again, then you can do that as well. That's up to you. But you will get more of them on normal mode. And then these only come from amorphous patterns. So the things that you remember unlock over in this area right here. So you can get those amorphous patterns from everywhere, and that will lead to this next part of the video. Well, that's how to get the catalysts. Energy activators, you need way less of these. You can just look up where to get these. I don't think I've ever particularly gone out and farmed for these, but it looks like Slumber Valley is probably one of them, I had to guess. Or it might be one of the strategic outposts, maybe. Like I said, I've never actually had to go farm these. I've just always been swimming in the materials for them. Maybe I need to go do this, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of getting low on these guys. Honestly, I would probably just go look it up. I know where to get these, though. These are from the encrypted box in Vespers again. So that's yet again why you need Enzo and Nell. Or Nell is what I should say. Not sure what the exact best missions are for these. I'll just defer you to somebody else's YouTube guide. Sorry. Sorry that I can't provide that information right now. These are also from Amorphous Patterns, though. So that covers those. So one thing I forgot to mention is to open those encrypted vaults, you will need something, I believe they're, you will need either code breakers or analyzers, if I recall, I think is what they're called. Yeah, so code breakers or code analyzers. The code breakers, I believe, are for, it tells you in the description, are for hard mode vaults, and then the precision code analyzers are for the normal ones. Unfortunately, you cannot particularly farm those too easily. I think you might be able to get them from the bonus shop sometimes. Sometimes I think they have them in here in the Battle Pass bonus shop. You don't actually need the Battle Pass to be able to use this. And then there's some sold every week from ETA's shop down here, which I haven't covered yet, but some of them are in there, and I guess ETA will be part of that. So just know that you can sometimes pick up a couple every week here. Otherwise, they just sort of drop from missions or are given out as rewards for things. I've only ever particularly gone to farm them one time, and it's from running a mission that I believe is in it's in either Vespers or Echo Swamp, I can't remember, but I did it because somebody had recommended doing it, and I swear I only got like 5 after doing it for like an hour, so it didn't feel very worth it. So regardless, if you are unable to open an encrypted vault, it's probably because you don't have the associated either breaker or analyzer to open that vault type on the difficulty that you're on. But know that it does vary per difficulty. So if you have more of one key or less of one key, just go do the one that you have the keys for. And just remember, the easiest source of those is this guy. I know for certain always sells some version of them every week. Yeah, I think he sells 15. I don't think it's always the same quality ones, but I believe he always is selling 15. I will actually just simply go look because it's right there. And I guess, do I want to go over, I'm not going to go over this guide right now. I'm just going to go check. So there they are. This week he's selling the Ultra Precision Code Breakers, which is kind of rough. I think it might always be Ultra Precision, to be honest with you. I feel like I just remember that the most, but I swear I've gotten other ones from them too. These yellow tickets come from just doing usually either Axion plane missions or no, it's actually not from those. It's from selling blueprints, these guys. So selling anything before you accidentally sell something that you need, you can set this to owned up here, and I don't believe that it will recommend selling anything that you don't own yet. But if you just sell stuff to this guy, you can see you can get a whole bunch of tickets. You can press C to add all of them. The red ones come from doing missions either in the action planes or 400%, I believe. 200% might give them as well. I can't remember, but they come from doing missions and killing like mini bosses, and then these come from doing the Abyss Challenge intercept battle. So it's basically a difficult Colossus fight. Is what it is. This guy or his like super, challenging version. This guy that you do one time for rewards. I can't show you them because I've already killed him. The regardless, just want to let you know that you will need those things, and that's also just sort of the ETA shop. Go over there to pick up dyes and blueprints and the random crap every week. The important thing that you want from the ETA shop is there's inventory slots that you can get every week. I think 4 of them. It's either 2 to 4 of them. You can also get inventory slots by doing Sigma Sector and buying them from this lady right here. But we're not going to go into that quite yet. So just casually mentioning it. Anyways, that is where to get the code breakers and stuff and the ETA shop. So, all right. So One of the first things that I would recommend doing is honestly, and this is probably sort of like a controversial take if I had to guess, would be doing the assumed bridge zone mission. This is sort of going to accomplish a couple of things. And what am I on here? That's on hard mode. Weirdly enough, so there's two different ways you could do it. Well, let's start with let's start, I guess, with like, this is sort of going to be filler. This is going to be like a long grind, to be honest with you. It's not really long. I don't think. It's been a long time since I've done it, but there's two different modes to this. You probably want to do it on hard mode just because you can get item level 100 stuff, and you may want that, but the dog that this gives is not very good. He's only really useful in some niche scenarios. He's still a dog. So what I'm trying to get at is that getting a dog is going to make your quality of life go up enormously. And I think that it is worth trying to get one of the dogs pretty early, because everything else will be so much faster and feel so much better once you get it. Basically, if you don't know what the dogs can do, they do exactly what you imagine they would do, like most games have. Your dog can go around in a super wide area around you and just vacuum loot up. And then it will run your loot filters on it to dismantle it. So it basically makes your inventory feel like it's like several times larger than it is. That is the whole point of the dog. And that's why I think it's worth trying to get one of the dogs pretty early. It's just going to enable you to get way more materials and do things faster. So the unfortunate part is the hard mode dog is kind of useless. He'll still pick up everything and dismantle stuff, but just his ability just gives you ammo periodically, which is not really something that you need. At least most characters that use guns, he either doesn't provide enough ammo to be meaningful, or that descendant just has infinite ammo built into their kit in some way. So he's sort of pointless, unfortunately. However, the character that comes from assumed bridge mode or assumed bridge zone hard mode, which is what we're looking at right now, is Inez, and Inez is insanely good. So she's probably the best farmer in the game when it comes to clearing missions fast. However, she is very weak at single target. So the absolute cutting edge missions, like the latest content, she's usually not good at, just because that stuff has too much HP. Like, there'll be like, she's very good at obliterating all the mobs, but the moment that like a tanky boss spawns, she's just like on the floor. That has somewhat been solved recently with the introduction of melee weapons, because she can rely on how overpowered melee weapons are to still kill things, which just puts her back at being like really, really good. But I would say she's worth getting as a result. So it's sort of up to you which one you want to do. So in hard mode, you're going to be getting better drops, but the content's going to be way harder. And the character that comes out of it that you can sort of farm simultaneously is better, but the dog is not very good. But if you do it on normal mode, the dog is better. This one restores hit points periodically, which is a little bit more useful than just giving you ammo when you may not even use ammo. And if you do use ammo, you probably have a way to just ignore ammo. So, but Keelan, who is the descendant that you get on normal mode, is not, I think he's pretty good now, but I've never seen him really be meta, but it could also just be because, this game is like, everybody wants to play the female characters for some unknown reason, So, I think he's okay. And like, you'll want him. It might just be reasonable to do this then, because at least on normal mode, just because the content will be easier, so you'll be able to do it easier. The dog is better, and you're still going to want Keelan for mastery experience at some point anyway, so like maybe that's just the play, but I'll just leave it up to you. All you need to know is I think Inez is actually a very, very good character that you're going to want, but the dog on hard mode is not that great and the content's harder, and then the dog on normal mode is better in my opinion. But you're obviously not going to get like as good of drops and things like that. So I'm sort of letting you know this because when you're and I'm going over this first because when you're unable to find something else to do, like you've exhausted the daily things, this is probably going to be something you want to work on or prioritize until you get one of the dogs. I don't think getting Inez or Keelan is mandatory, although Inez is very, very strong and you may want to still do that anyway. But I think that getting the dog, like I said, is just super important. So this is one of the first things that I would recommend doing, and I don't think that a lot of people. I think a lot of people have probably forgotten about it. Is all. Okay, so I thought I was done, and I came back halfway through rendering this video to make some additional notes on this because I feel that it was worth it. So that way because Void Vessel, I think they have you do it once in the story, but it could be kind of confusing on exactly how it works and exactly how you would farm the pieces in here. Basically, and so I think I would probably recommend just doing this on normal because you are going to want Keelan eventually just for the mastery XP, and this dog is just better and it'll be easier. So like you can probably just solo it once you actually go to do it, but you can still just do whichever difficulty you like. But to get the dog, the way that it works is the loot box that you receive at the end is based on how much time you had remaining when you killed the last boss. So that's what this like over 2 minutes, over 120, whatever it is. That is based on, oh, it actually tells you up here. Wow, look at their UI, so good. Yes, it's not exactly clear. It says there is a chance to obtain a fellow or descendant, and better selectable rewards become available based on the time remaining. It is based specifically on the time remaining of killing the boss. And so there's things in the level that you can like activate or whatever it is to give you more time to kill the last boss. Now, assuming you're strong enough, which if you're doing the normal version of it, you probably are, you don't need to like stop to get those things if you don't want to, because they can be out of the way and take up time, especially if you have to do something like 50 times. I don't remember how long the grind for this is, but there is a decent reason just to grind for it instead of just swiping your credit card or something on the dog. And that is because you will still have to level up the dog afterwards. And to do that, you need to get some of the resources that are in this area. So using the journal, what I want you to know is, so let's just say you're going for this guy. These things, make sure you're checking which box you're supposed to be opening. So it says on normal mode, he comes from experimental materials. And experimental materials box 2, which I didn't know that existed, but whatever it is. Oh, that's from medium-sized facility, I guess on normal. Huh. Wait a minute. Hold on. Have we just learned something that I didn't know? Can you get this guy from in there? No, you get a different dog. Okay. Oh, you can get something related to him. It says right there. Oh, interesting. I don't know what the power level of this is. I have actually never done this on normal as far as I'm aware. So maybe that's something you can investigate to see if it's faster or not. Unfortunately, I don't actually know the answer to that. So maybe you just need to like look up a YouTube guide on specifically like the dog or something. I don't know. Maybe somebody's like min-maxed it. I'm not sure, but I just ran this. The other Void Vessel didn't exist the last time that I needed to farm that. But regardless, I'll leave that up to you. I don't have time to research it right now, and this video is pretty long. But just make sure you're opening the right box to get the parts to actually build the dog. So, like I said, looking at this, you need the experimental material storage, and then this is also that, I believe. But so then you have to get each of these pieces, make sure to select them, like I said, as your target reward down here. And then you will get 6 decryption keys when you kill the last boss. And those are what allow you to open up the like reward chest that you get from the boss. So these things, and the quality of these is based on how fast you specifically killed the boss, basically, or how much time you had left. Which the item in the level will help you do if you need it. And then the reward from these, you'll basically get like one of these 2, for your like intact data vault, which is like the best drop rate. In quotes, the best drop rate to not get gold is basically what I'm trying to say, right? Because there's a 30% chance to get gold in this and 61% here. But if you look at the next one, it's like 67% to get gold and 39%. So like it gets worse and worse, but you don't get access to both of these when you kill the last boss. You just get one or the other. And now maybe you're doing this and you're like, I really don't care about Keelan. I just need the dog. Let's say it gave you this for your intact data vault. You could opt to take the imperfect data vault instead, which should be the dog because it usually alternates them. So like basically it'll pick one of these two paths. It'll either be the dog is your intact data vault reward and then Keelan is the second one, meaning that you have the best rate to get the dog, or your best reward is Keelan and then the second best one is the dog. So you'll get one of these two reward paths. And if you really are just sitting there going like, I don't need Keelan, then you may just want to select like the best dog if it's there. And if it's not there, then getting the second best one. That's just up to you, but I wanted to explain it. And then really quick, enhancement materials. So you do have to level the dog up. And to level the dog up, you need these things, fortified supplements and special synthetic calcium. Usually you're going to find these. You get this stuff yet again from boxes in the mission. They come from the, I guess in this case, I thought it came from the genetic materials box, but this is saying it's from special materials storage box. And let's just look at all of them to see. It's telling me special materials, so I don't know. It also says you can get some of these from Axion Plains. They must have added that in because people didn't want to go farm these. It would be my guess. So I would say focus on the ones that you can only get for the dog, which is, I guess, the experimental material storage. And then you might get some of the ones to like level the dog up just from doing like Axion Plains boxes and stuff like that later. That's just up to you. But I just want you to know that, like, please make sure you're checking the rewards and stuff to make sure that you're actually, like, when you go to build the dog, you have all the stuff you need to actually build the dog, which requires you to loot the boxes in Void Vessel. And this is the boxes that require the decryption vaults, not just, like, the random things you kick open. It is, like, very specifically these, like, targeted boxes in the map. And you can use your SCEV, which I think on keyboard and mouse is tab by default, and will, like, highlight the boxes. And you can find more of them on the level if you want to get more of those materials. You will only ever get 6 decryption keys from killing the last boss, which means that you can unlock his reward and then 5 boxes in the next one. But sometimes it just depends. They may have these in the bonus shop in here, or you may have gotten them from a reward, like a login reward. You can get more of those decryption keys from here. So like if I were to go in here and spend 200 of the battle pass points, of which I've got like 15,000, it says, I could opt to take like 5 more decryption keys. But I've already got 50 of these, so I don't need to, right? Because I got them from other sources. I'm letting you know where to look for these, though, as well. So if you have any of these and you want to like speed up how fast you can, or how many boxes you can loot for the materials to make the dog, because you might get the parts for the dog pretty quick, just based off the percentages that I was just seeing there. Maybe it's a bit faster than I remembered it, but as long as you're setting a target reward and opening these up, I'm kind of hoping that you can just get the dog parts like all, like maybe in like an hour or two would be my hope. And then you'd have all the things to like actually just immediately start cooking the dog in the research place. So I just wanted to touch on how you would do this because I do think that this form of content is pretty different than the other stuff in the game. So it might have been a little bit confusing how it all worked. So anyways, yeah, sorry for that. That was a bit more long-winded than I thought. Just want to make sure you understood it. Moving on. Okay. So the stuff that you will have access to when you have basically just unlocked hard mode and you don't have the full mastery requirements yet to do all of the missions is going to be mainly at this terminal, and it is going to be the infiltration operations. So I believe you get this in the story. So there's 2 forms of power for your character that you can pick up, and they used to be solely tied to the story, but now they have changed it so that way you get the stuff that you need to level it up from just like pretty much every mission. So I can't tell you when exactly you're going to get those 2 pieces of player power, but just keep in mind that they do exist. And one of those is Inversion Reinforcement, and then the other one is Arche Tuning. And I'm going to show you what they look like really quick from a mission here. So on this, you can see where it says XP 268,000, weapon XP 268,000. To the right of the XP one, that is inversion reinforcement, and it's giving you 840. And then below that is the Arche tuning experience, and that's 1,890. So that is what those two things look like. I don't know when you'll unlock them because they used to be through 2 exclusive sources, and I've now added it to everything. So I don't know if you just do a mission, if it will just unlock it, or if you still have to get it through the story. I can't answer that for you. But if you have it, just check to see if you have points in either of these. And then just, I'm not going to do like a guide on what you should put in here. They are completely, worry-free. You can reset them whenever you want for no cost at all, as many times as you want. So if you just have noticed that you've picked up points in these, just go ahead and spend them. This is for your whole account, and it resets every single season. This is only for the character that you're on right now, the Arche tuning is. So, if you gain experience, Arche tuning experience with one character, it will not give you that experience for another character. But if you get any inversion reinforcement, it is for the entire account. But you will need to go in and allocate them per character. So you can't just allocate it once. You do set it per character. It's just that they share experience. Okay. The reason that I wanted to go over that is because these weirdly enough, why does it show that one of these gives me mastery experience when I'm 100% certain I've done it? That is kind of weird. I believe these give some amount of Arche tuning points nowadays. It's not showing it here, but I could have sworn that they did. Maybe it's just because... Oh, yeah, they do. Okay. So it looks like it's only on 400% though. So I believe that these, basically, these infiltration operations have 3 different levels. If you click on one of the ones that isn't glowing, you're only going to have access to 100 and 250%. Obviously, this does exactly what you think it does. You get more loot on the higher level, and the enemies are also tougher. You do have to, oh yeah, you can also see that it shows that murky energy residue from earlier that you'll need for catalysts, just because I happen to click on Forgottens. When you are going to do one of these missions, for the 100 and the 250% ones, you are going to have to do like the full mission in all of the events. But if you are able to do the 400% ones, which rotate daily and are denoted by this swirly thing on the map, they obviously drop even more stuff, but they actually go faster than the 100 and 250% ones usually. The downside is that you don't really get to pick which one you can do because it's just a daily rotation. So if you really needed to pick up stuff from Forgottens, I can't like just go do that, right? Because it's not the 400% for the day. But they give way more loot. They are more difficult. However, you're also probably going to have higher level players in it that can just carry you, because most of the players are going to be doing the 400%, because they basically remove all of the like waiting mechanics that you would normally have to do, and the monsters just all spawn in like immediately, like right on top of you. And so if you're strong, like say for instance you have like a leveled up Inez, you'll just obliterate the screen in like one ability. And so people go in there to farm just insane amounts of experience. And this is also, by the way, why I didn't really recommend like resetting the firearm or character XP on your character and then like prestiging it while you're in the campaign, because doing like even 5 to 10 of these gives you probably more experience than you would get during the entire campaign before hard mode. So it's not super worth it to worry or focus about it, or focus on it before then. But if you're looking for something to do, feel free to queue into any of these types that you feel comfortable with just like some stuff that you haven't gotten the mastery on yet. So maybe it's like a purple weapon or a blue weapon or an ultimate weapon, and just level up the mastery on it. You do get more mastery when you have that firearm equipped in your main hand. However, what you can do as well, like for instance, if you've leveled up Restored Relic Launcher. You can kill everything with Restored Relic Launcher, and then right before the mission ends, swap to the one that you need the experience on, and it sort of like divides it that way. Because it'll give this chunk, this is just for finishing it, it'll give that chunk to the one that you have in your hand, and then, but while you're killing everything, all the experience from killing everything will go to the ones that you're killing it with. They do share XP. So like basically what will happen is if you kill one monster and that monster was to give 1,000 firearm experience, it'll give like 1,000 to your main hand that you killed it with, and then it will give like 250 to like every other weapon that you have equipped in your offhands. So it's just a little bit more efficient to have that weapon be the thing that you kill with. I just figured I would let you know that. But you can sort of cheese it a bit to get the other ones to level up faster, even if you're not actively killing with them, just by swapping to them before the mission ends. So when you're doing this, remember you have to pick one of these up at the top. If you don't need anything from the stuff in here, like say you're looking at the pattern and you're like, wow, I don't like, I've already got Kyle, or I don't like need Piercing Light, or maybe I already did this 20 times today. Then my recommendation would be just to pick whichever one provides blueprint for crystallization catalysts, because you're going to need 10 of those at minimum per character and per weapon. So that's what I would do. But you only need one energy activator per character and per weapon. Whereas, like I said, the donuts, you need like at least 10. So I would usually default towards doing this. And then every one of these that you get, whenever you do a 400%, you'll get 2 of these at the end. So you basically per mission have like a 40% chance to get one of the blueprints for a crystallization catalyst. So if you do the 250% or the 100%, you will only get 1 of these, if I recall. You might still get 2 of these on the 250%. It's been a long time since I've done one, but the other thing to note with this is if one of the missions that you want to farm sucks, so like say you want to do Forgotten's, but you're like, wow, this is kind of long, you may still want to do that one, because I think you have 2 chances at the loot. But say you needed to do Mystery's End. Mystery's End is a pretty long mission, if I recall. Or actually, what's even worse is this one. This one is terrible. You can tell because they rebalanced the experience recently based off how long they take, and this one gives way more than like double that you just saw compared to like Mystery's End. So this one just takes forever, and you might be like, wow, I really need like to farm up ultimate Glay code from this or something. You can select the reward up here, and then you can click to infiltrate another operation basically, and it will put you into any other mission that's currently going on, which could still be this one, by the way. And you can only do this for 100% and 250%, but basically it gives you the chance to get put into a mission that's not this one that sucks, while still getting the rewards from this mission. But do notice that it does decrease the experience that you get. So just a heads up. But if you were not concerned, like maybe you don't have anything to actively get experience towards at the time, you might decide just to do this instead, so that way you aren't sitting there wanting to kill yourself after running this for like the 40th time or something like that. Just a heads up. And the other thing to note with that is when you do an infiltration, you will get something called a support coin, and every 30 of these will let you buy a piece for one of the old battle pass weapons. And those, I know I covered this before, but I'll just mention it again. Those are sold by this guy, Deslin, over in this area. You talk to him and select trade limited weapons, and for 30 coins, he will give you one of the pieces that you need for those battle pass weapons. So those support requests will, help you to get those weapons, which you will want for mastery experience, because they still give mastery experience. Everything in the game does. So you may choose to do that. You can get those coins through something else. I think it's something on Axion Plains, though, and you can't get to here until 15. Mastery rank 15 is what I should say. The other thing on this screen, I believe I've basically covered all these. Make sure you're just picking something that you either need stuff from, or donuts, or an energy activator if you're low on those, technically. Do the highest level of this that you can do. Otherwise, you know, just remember that the option to infiltrate is here. You can definitely, these will probably be tough to start with. You should just be able to go in and get carried by people. It used to not be the case in the day, but player power is so high now. I'd be very surprised if you could go in and struggle with one of these, but it might be possible. I will go over player power. Well, since it looks like you get them from this, maybe I will go over that next. We'll see. It just depends. I will stop. Actually, no. There's one more thing I need to say before I close this segment of the video and start recording another segment. And that is these invasions. So these invasions used to be the only way to get inversion reinforcement, which you can show here. And you can do each invasion only twice per day. So they're on whatever mission also has the 400%. And this will give you the pieces that you need to make Haley, which would obviously give you some, you know, another descendant to get mastery rank on. And I believe, I don't know that you only get 1.25 million gold. I remember that they give a ton of gold, is why I am mentioning it. I actually think it's higher than 1.2 million, but maybe they changed it. Just go in and check to see how much you get, I guess. But these can be, for a new player, a very good source of gold. And just remember, you can do each one of them twice per day. So that would be 4 of them, which would be about 6 million gold. So if you do need gold, at least according to what's saying here, I thought for some reason that it was either 2 or 5 million, but maybe it changed. Maybe you get more, and that's like if you failed, that's just how much you get. I'm not really sure, but I swear I thought it was more than that. Oh, well, regardless, for their time investment, it is very easy to do these. I will say that they are more annoying than the regular missions, and they don't give experience, really. So you don't need to worry about taking in a character that you need experience on. But they should be pretty much just as short, but they are annoying. The thing to know with them, unless they've changed it, I will briefly go over what you will see when you get in there. It's going to be like a normal mission, but with like just an extra little twist. Basically, you can have one of 3 scenarios. One of them is you will have to kill mobs and collect brains, in quotes, on the ground. And then you will need to deposit those into like a little canister nearby until it's full. And then when it's full, you will, I believe, get like, I want to say you get a weapon, and then you have to like break the door down or something like that. Or the door might just open. I can't remember. It's been ages since I've done one of these. But just know that one of them is you have to pick up brains and then just deposit them into a thing to progress the mission. Another one is that there will be a whole bunch of drones flying in the air. Not in the air, they're sort of on the ground. And there's going to be pillars. And the drones have a pattern on them, and the pillars have a pattern on them. And you need to shoot the stuff off of each one of the pillars to display a pattern, and then find the drone that corresponds with that pattern. So basically what you'll see is like, you'll shoot a pillar, and then it might show like triangle up at the top of the pillar, and then the rest of the pillar is blank. And then you shoot another pillar, and the second spot on that pillar is like a circle, and then the rest of it is blank. So you know that the pattern has to be like triangle and then circle, and you need to go find one of like the drones that has a triangle and a circle on it, and then go stand in that one and like talk to the drone, and then it will explode, and then drop like a gun for you, and you go and you blow up the door to progress the level. And then there is one more mission type in there. I can't remember what it is. It's been so long since I've done one. Oh, yeah, the last one is standing on tiles. Okay. There will be like a platform, and somebody just needs to like go and stand on that platform, and then it will display, it'll make like all these other little platforms in the area show a symbol, and you have to align that pattern with the door. So like the door might show like triangle, circle, X or something, and then somebody will go stand on this thing that reveals these other platforms, and then you need to stand on triangle, circle, and X for those. It doesn't have to be at the same time, though. You just have to stand on them, and then they like activate, and you can go to the next one. So anyways, that's those. They suck, but they do give decent inversion particles, and they give a decent amount of XP, and they also give you like Haley materials. So I think you can also get Haley materials just from doing 400%, though, I swear. Maybe you can't. Regardless, there's the information from them. Anyways, that concludes that terminal. That is going to be just a great source of like experience for both your firearms and your characters, and a great way to get some of the blueprints to make more of the catalysts and to get parts for Descendants and catalysts. So you are probably going to be doing a lot of these, and it is one of the very first things that you're going to have access to, is these things. These, as far as I'm aware, have no mastery requirement at all. You just get to go do them. That is that terminal. Let me look at my script really quick. Actually, I'll just pause the video so that way I can think. So periodically, like while you're playing, you may have noticed that in some of these things here, you're going to be getting these cores. So Ancestor Mods and these cores are basically the last sort of player power thing that you can get currently in the game. And this is the shop that you go to, or the bench that you go to work with those sorts of things. And I intentionally saved it because you're not going to be able to really do much at this until you start getting a bunch of those. There are, oh my gosh, I feel like I have to sneeze. So at Mastery Rank 18, you will be able to reliably do this thing, if I could find it, this one. You'll be able to reliably do Void Erosion Purge, which allows you to get these abyss metal fragment things that you'll see, and it's just over here. And I believe that you go to this guy to do one of these two. Oh, this one has it. Void Erosion Purge. It just says it right there. One of those two will let you queue into it, or you can just queue into it from the map. Yet again, as long as you are just in Albion, it'll just let you do it. It gets progressively harder. As you can see, the Vulgus level here is 185, and the Vulgus level here is 260. You'll notice that these are very weak to cold. This is part of why I recommended Viessa as your starting character. Viessa is very good at the last level of this. This will be pretty challenging content. It is probably similar in difficulty to these dungeons. It's definitely easier than these two dungeons. If you can do these dungeons, you can probably do Void Erosion Purge on the last level, assuming you can get to it. They are not always weak to chill. As you can see, they're normal here. I don't think they're ever resistant to chill. No, but sometimes it's just normal. They're only ever strongly resistant to fire because they hate Serena. So, don't quote. The community will be angry at me if they hear that. Just ignore that. Okay. What that gives you is it will allow you to get Void Abyss metal fragments, or whatever they're called, and these cores. You need the fragments to be able to use the cores. So what you're going to use those Abyss metal fragments on, and you may be given one of these or some of these as a reward. And I will see if they have any in here right now. They don't. But there are some of these cores in the previous shop, or the previous login rewards. And there is some of the Void Abyss metal fragments in the login rewards. So that's why I'm mentioning this, is you may get some of these before you're theoretically able to get them. You need, and they may even have, there's a thing that you can call a core binder. This thing. It takes 2,000 Void Abyss metal fragments to craft one of them. What that will do is it will let you, well, actually here, it will let you unlock the cores on your weapon. So you will not normally have those 5 rows below the fire rate there and between the options. You're not normally going to have those. You have to unlock the weapon using one of those core binders to be able to do it, and you do that at this bench. So if I were to click on one of these that I haven't done it on like this, it will say that I need to use, or I need to be at level 100 and I need to use a core binder, and then it will unlock all of these different cores. Those little spheres that you saw are basically like color-coded to go into these. So I'm not going to do that there, but I will show you over here. This is a free core, so it kind of shows you. So you'll notice that the thing that's like corresponds to that is just like anything can go in this. And then it shows you over here that like for this X, you can put elemental attack in it, and then for the C, you can put fire rate in it. And you'll notice that it corresponds with the color. So there are other core types. You can just see all of them here. This is actually just all of them because these are the free sockets that you can put anything in them. And what you'll do is you'll go over here, you'll click it, and like say for instance you want to put fire. I don't want to re-roll this one because 19 is pretty good, but I would go into here, I would select my fire rate core. It shows me that I can roll fire rate. And then these also take void abyss metal fragments, but you need these to be able to like re-roll it once you've done the initial roll. And then you just do it. And it will allow you to decide between which one of these. So you can't be like screwed, but you may not get what you're looking for, right? So in this case, getting like a high roll fire rate is apparently very easy. It's actually like almost impossible, but that's incredible that I got that. That's sick. Awesome. Yeah, something about, I'm not a streamer, but something about streamer luck. I don't know. So what these do though is they massively increase the power of your weapons. Like your weapon will become several like magnitudes stronger. You will not have access to the rank 10 cores right away unless you got them from like a login reward, as you just saw. But you can farm them in so I'll just show you really quick. So see how there's like there's like cores in here, core X, whatever they are, that's rank 10 core. So you may get those from a login reward. Make sure you know what you're doing. Like look up a build guide for a weapon that you want to build. Yet again, my recommendations would be Thunder Cage and Restored Relic Launcher. I think are the two best right now, in my opinion. But there are a lot of good weapons in the game, but you do need them to have those unlocked cores before they're going to really start to shine. If I had to recommend one, I still would... is that a true statement? I would probably still recommend Restored Relic Launcher, but it's possible you may want to do Thunder Cage because Restored Relic Launcher, you may not need to do like the fire rate cores on this. You might be fine just doing like the fire attack cores in like one fire rate core because you're not going to have a lot of cores to start with. Because you don't really need to like spam this. Like one of the shells from this is enough to like wipe out most of the screen. So like I don't know that you need to like waste a bunch of fire rate cores on this to make it better. But that's once you get the fire attack ones in it, right? Or whatever. So that's what these are. Those Void Abyss metal fragments and those cores, unless you are getting them from like a one-time event, they otherwise only come from here, basically. And there's a few other places. So I believe that they drop from Wall Crasher, for instance. So yeah, he shows something there. I don't know that they give every type of core. Is part of the issue. They might only give some. The problem at this point is that I have so many of these things that I don't quite check where they all come from, which probably means that they come from a variety of different sources, to be honest with you. But I know that, like, for instance, they do come from here as well now. They just changed it. So, like, these are giving you, like, rank 3 ones. But the fastest way to get them is Void Erosion Purge, but you can upgrade them. So I'm going to show you that really quick here. So you would go into, forgive me, I have the sniffles right now. You would go into here and like say you need the attribute ones. You would click on this and you basically can upconvert the old cores using these core amplifiers. These drop, as far as I'm aware, just from the Void Erosion Purge, but also from just some other random stuff as well, just from just like other random missions. Like I think you might get them from here. Yeah, you do. You get like 15. And you get the Void Abyss metal fragments, by the way, from this. So I guess actually, okay, I'll put an addendum onto my previous thing there to let people to know to actually do this a bit earlier than I thought they could do it. So regardless, I'm still going to teach you, well, I've just taught you about them, right? So you can upconvert those if you want to, and as they go up in level, they get way stronger, but it also costs a lot of gold, as far as I'm aware. So 17 million if I wanted to convert these, but I guess that's 214 of them. So to do 14 of these is only about 1 million. So that's not too bad. You should be able to do something like that. But basically you can make incremental progress on making your guns stronger and stronger by putting those cores into your gun. And you can re-roll them as many times as you want, so long as you have that other material. And you would just talk to a Naze to make either of the things for the core binder or the thing that allows you to like re-roll. It's probably under enhancement or weapon if I had to guess. Let's look. Yeah, so both of these are under enhancement. And they just take the Void Abyss Metal Fragments, which you just get from, like I said, pretty much... it seems like pretty much everything, at least the 400% and Void Erosion Purge. You can probably look up other ways to get them, but you're going to be naturally getting some of them from login rewards and from those things if you're just doing them. So that is the weapon cores. Well, that's the weapon cores. Let me actually continue going over this because there's still more stuff to that. The other thing that you can do here is you can do the external component cores. So these are the same thing. They just use a different kind of core. You still get them from the same places as far as I'm aware. And if you get some of these, though, you can go in here and assign usually maximum HP to them. So there's two different kinds. This one gives you shields. This one gives you maximum HP, and most of the time you're going to be going with maximum HP. And then you're probably going to be going with just defense on the other core. But you can take resistances if you're doing some sort of content where you need that. And yet again, you can just roll these, and if you don't like what you got, you can just take the old thing again. So I thought for a second there I got the upgrade. But that is, this looks like it's more HP than it is, but I believe it's off your base HP, not your maximum HP. So getting like 35% or whatever that is here is probably only like, it's probably like maybe 1,000 plus or minus like 200 HP. So it's not quite as big as it looks like, but it does allow you to go from having like, 5 or 6k HP here to having like close to 9,000 instead. So it is worth it if you've got a set of these that you particularly like and that you're using a lot. If I had to recommend, by the way, a component set to try to get early, I would recommend going for 2-piece Plague, 2-piece Hunter set. That is my favorite combination. That works out on just like a lot of different characters. And I would specifically try to get the Hunter Sensor and the Hunter Processor because they have defense and HP. And all of Plague set has HP, is why I like it. Every single piece has HP. So it's just comfy, that's all. So I would just recommend getting those two if you could. Hunter's a bit harder of a set to get, I think. I think you have to do Void Vessel for it, but they may have added it to... it used to be that you had to do Colossi or Void Vessel to get those things. And I think now they just dropped from some of the 400% and stuff again. They added like a lot of stuff to this. So like, yeah, this one drops Invader memory set. So, Invader set. So some of them are going to have different sets when you do them. So 400% are very good to do. As you can see, they're going to be the thing that's taking up a lot of your time, just getting new descendants, getting new weapons, and just gathering a variety of resources that have just been added to 400% to keep it relevant. Okay. All right. So that covers basically this terminal right here and the stuff that you can do with that. This terminal, these defense missions are good for experience. But I think that as a new player, you're probably not going to want to focus on them because you could be doing this to get progress towards either catalysts or just acquiring like new descendants and weapons and things like that. So those two things, so like this terminal basically, and then Void Vessel, particularly this center assumed bridge thing you should have access to, are probably what I would be focusing on as a new player until you reach one of the higher mastery ranks. And remember, the only thing from here that really matters is getting one of the dogs, either on normal or hard mode, from assumed bridge zone. So this will also give you some of the materials for catalysts. So like I said, I believe I already mentioned that. Oh, and it gives you the sport coins. I said I swear that they give you those from something else. Looks like that's where they put them. So once you have done that, the name of the game, like I said, get new descendants, get new weapons, level them up from 1 to 40, get mastery rank. That is going to be the main path. Just keep doing that, keep doing the story quests, all that sort of thing. Once you have reached, I believe it is mastery rank 13, I think that they give you access to this medium-sized facility. This is where you get the melee weapons. I would not recommend, it's tough to say. If you really want to, go ahead and do this. This content will probably be very difficult for you. I think that this is pretty tough for a new player to do. at least on your own, but you might be able to get carried through it. It's hard to say. It is very worth it if you can do it, specifically to get 1 copy of Shadow. If you choose to farm this, because like I said, I believe it becomes available at 13, make sure to set pieces of this as a reward for doing it. So remember that you can do the reward targeting in here. You'll notice that I even have some of them in here, for Shadow and Manus, and apparently this thing from a previous tutorial. Remember to have these set. I would have them set probably for Shadow. And then I would just get 1 copy of Shadow. It is a very strong sword, but it will not be able to reach its full potential until you can get access to something that you need at Mastery Rank 18. Like I said, that's sort of up to you. If you want to try to get carried through this to get 1 copy of Shadow, go for it. That's about all you can get from here. It's absolutely worth it. It's probably like the strongest weapon in the game right now, but it's also just going to be difficult to do. At Mastery Rank 15, so we've already gone over 1 daily thing that you can do, and that was the Invasion missions from here if you need gold specifically, but otherwise they don't really give a ton of stuff. Otherwise, the thing to look for daily is going to be trying to do the 400% or farming anything you need to get new weapons or new characters. So the next thing that you can do is at Mastery Rank 15. At Mastery Rank 15, I believe that you can unlock Sigma Sector and Axion Planes, and this will give you a pretty significant amount of stuff that you can do daily and weekly. I don't want to say significant, it takes like 10 seconds, but if you were a new player, it will probably take you more than 10 seconds to do it, because you will probably need to go in and get carried. The first thing will be Sigma Sector. I highly recommend you do this every day. Each one of these has a 1 daily bonus reward, and you will get 4,000 of the Arche tuning experience for the character you do it on 1 time that day, along with a high value relic and a random Ancestor module for each one of these. So do both of them every single day. Those high value relics can be traded over here at Reyna for inventory slots. I would not recommend getting this Arche Factor XP. It caps out at 40. You don't ever need to replenish it. That is 40 per character, but you will get there eventually. Just save these and use them on buying equipment slots. That's pretty much the only thing that you would care about getting. But you're going to want to do that every single day on this. And I will go over Ancestor modules. If I'm talking about it right now, I should probably go over it right now. Let me go over Axion Planes and then we'll discuss the Ancestor modules. How about that? So the other thing is in here, there's going to be a dimensional energy stabilization thing. This will award you with, as you can see, 1 Ancestor module, some of the cores, a couple of crafting materials, and I think 2 trigger mods. What you have to do to complete this is to do one of the missions that has this little jaw mouth looking thing on it at any given time. The only one I would not do out of these, if you see them up, is this one and this one. Take a lot longer than the rest of them. So these 2. But all of them in reality should take no more than 2 to 3 minutes. I would just zone into the area and see if anybody's doing any of these and just join their mission. You can join partway. You just have to walk in and just hit 1 monster. This is different than all of the other content in the game. It's open world. So if you just go in and tag a monster, you will immediately be queued into the mission and get the rewards. And you only need to do 1 of these. You don't need to farm it. That will give you 1 of these, which will give you another Ancestor mod. Ancestor mods are the largest form of power you are going to be able to get, assuming that you can equip 1. So that is why they would be important to you to do. And you can get 3 of them per day by doing the 2 Sigma sectors and doing this dimensional energy stabilization thing. The mission that has the teeth thing on it changes every 2 hours. So you can see that this one says it's they're referred to as an operational area mission. So this one has an hour and 30 minutes left on it, and then it will rotate to another mission. And usually there's 2 up, but there can just be 1 up. I don't know why it does that, but oh, maybe it's this one over here. I have a quest on. I guess I should go do that because I haven't done that quest yet. But usually there's 2 up. And I think there is a case where there can just be 1 up. I just forget what the pattern is. The other thing that comes from Axion planes is the bikes. So those are, is it in here? These. Thanks. Whatever. You will get this bike for free in the story. It is not the greatest bike. It is not super important, though, to get the other bikes. The only thing that you need these for is they will allow you to move a little bit faster when you do have, the bike on. That's sort of not super important. The only thing it will really let you do is there's, I think, 10 of these races in here that you can do. And it sort of requires you to have... they're actually kind of tough. But it requires you basically to have like one of the good bikes and also have it like fully upgraded and maxed out and stuff. But you can get like 10 crystallization catalysts from this if you choose to do it. You can see I've not done them all because I obviously don't need them, but I've done like most of them, I think. But they are actually weirdly difficult to do. You need really need the bike like leveled up and stuff. But they're in there if you want to. The other thing to look for in Axion planes is Wall Crasher. Wall Crasher can appear once every hour. Not can appear, he will appear once every hour. On the hour. And there's obviously a countdown here that you can see. I will go show you how to get to him really quick. Just to show you. But basically, Wall Crasher, so you will probably go in, if you are a new character, you will go in, and there is probably a chance that you will not be able to kill him. Because there is a lot of people that... So the boss has, I believe, 3.5 or 3.7 billion hit points. And a lot of people that zone into it are new players. And people that simply just don't do a lot of damage. So you can go to just this, either this spot right here or this spot right here are probably going to be the easiest. You can also go here, but any of the cardinal directions, so going through here or going through here are all entrances. And all you have to do, you don't have to talk to anyone or to do anything. You just have to go over to here and you have to make it to this spot. Now you can go in here, but this door may be closed depending on when you get here. So basically what happens is, on the hour, that door, this door right here will close and it will not let you in anymore. But as long as you are in this area, you can continue to queue into the content for 5 minutes after he has spawned. So basically from the hour to 5 minute onwards. So for instance, if it was spawning at 1 p.m. Or 1300 hours, then it would still be active for 5 minutes after that you could continue to queue into it. If you get into a really fast group that kills him in like 6 seconds or something, which is possible, you cannot do him more than once per hour. So even if you go back in and try to queue again, it will not give you rewards. It will let you queue into it, but you will not receive rewards from doing it. So I just wanted to go over that. So the daily things, as mentioned, do your operational area mission, that dimension stabilization thing, 1 time. Do each of the Sigma sectors 1 time. Those are daily, and you will get 3 Ancestor Mods from them. There is, however, something else to do in Axion planes. I will show you where they are, but you're not going to have access to these missions right away. I believe that you have to do stories to unlock them. Basically, this weekly bonus is you can get an Ancestor Mod every single time you complete this dungeon. You will need to be carried through this as a new player. They are difficult. There are people that have been playing the game for a while that still have a hard time with it. Usually the total damage that you need to do to clear the mission on solo by the end of it is like 3.5 billion to 4 billion damage, something like that. The end bosses are pretty tough, though. They will hurt. For a new player. For veterans, you're going to obliterate it in a few seconds, but they can just wipe out your health bar in a second or two without you realizing it. But you can get an Ancestor Mod from these up to 10 times per week. It is not per day. It is per week, resetting on Wednesday nights, at least in the US. That would be Wednesday nights at 2 a.m. Or technically it would be Thursday at 2 a.m. So, but I guess I'm just a complete fool, and I've missed out on probably like, probably like 100 of these Ancestor mods by now. I just didn't know that. I've just been doing it for one of them. I thought that it was shared. I guess it's not shared. So do these up to 20 times in the week to get 20 Ancestor mods. Don't be an idiot like me, I guess. I can't believe that I didn't know that. But maybe I guess it's a good thing that I was doing this guide then, or I just would have continued to not get 10 Ancestor mods every week. Okay. So yeah, probably queue into this in public and just hope to get carried. But for, like I said, for Wall Crasher and for these two dungeons, there's a decent chance when you go in, there could be other people looking to be carried, and it may go really poorly, and you'll just need to like leave and go try it again or something. That could easily just be the case. Ideally, you want to get to the point where you can just solo it, so there's not any chance that you can fail those. I don't think anybody really does Wall Crasher guides, but I can do a very easy budget Wall Crasher guide if people want that, for how to do decent damage on them. My build does has almost no investment, and it's like 25 million plus damage per second if you're unbuffed, and like 65 million damage per second if you're buffed. So you can kill Wall Crasher in like a minute on your own, and that's intentional, so that way I never fail it. And then I've got guides that are pretty easy for these, where I can make them if people want them. I have two up that are sort of challenge runs on characters that are notoriously difficult to do it on, but I can make easy ones if people want that. Anyways, that's Axion Planes. So, and that's pretty much the stuff you're going to do daily and then also weekly. As far as I'm aware, there's nothing else weekly you really need to do. The only other weekly thing that you can do is this guy, Grim Reaper. You are almost assuredly not going to be able to do this guy for some time as a new player. As you can see there, it says you have to actually be Mastery Rank 18, which I didn't know that, but Mastery Rank 18 is, I believe, the last rank that you need to unlock all the content, and it's what I was going to discuss next. But this guy will be very difficult. But if you are able to kill him, that is the last thing that I'm aware of that you can do weekly. And he will award tickets that allow you to go in and buy costumes and Ancestor mods up to 5 times per week from this shop. When the season, he is a seasonal boss. When the season ends, it will wipe out all of your tickets. But you will be able to buy the previous season's costumes in the next season if you missed them. So basically, just go to this guy for costumes and more Ancestor mods if you are able to kill the Abyss boss. And that will reset every season, which are about like 3 months or something like that. So, but he will probably be pretty tough for you, if I had to guess. That should be everything there that I wanted to cover. I will record the last mastery rank so that you guys don't hear me look at my script. All right, so the last mastery rank, I sort of just, this is going to be really short because I basically just already covered it, is the last important rank for like actual content is 18, and the stuff that unlocks, as I've just said, was Grim Reaper or whatever the Abyss boss is. It will be something new next season, I believe. And then just Void, Erosion, Purge. This being something that you may not be able to do the whole thing once you get to it, but theoretically, if you've got Viessa, maybe you want to get Ultimate Viessa or Haley pretty early just to get the cold damage stuff, and just do as high of a level as you can in it to get the weapon cores, because that'll allow you to just make stronger weapons. Weapons are a little, on some characters, they're a little bit weak, but on some characters, they're quite strong. Like Serena's obviously very good with weapons, and so is Ajax and Enzo and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's still a good idea just to have those and starting to get weapons rolling and being made stronger. There is challenge levels to this. You can only do these one time, but they provide way higher rewards, but they're also way more difficult to do. So it's up to you if you want to attempt these at some point, but I will warn you that I do think that they're pretty difficult. You probably will struggle to do them if you just started playing. Honestly, I struggled on them for quite some time. So, But that is the last mastery rank for content, and then the like official last gated mastery rank for anything is 25 for the Ancestor modules, like I said. So that is that. I'm going to talk about the, I believe, Ancestor mods, where to get the stuff for them, to like upgrade them, and then trigger mods right after this. And those are like the last forms of player power that are left for you to get. The last thing is Ancestor modules, and I know I sort of touched on this briefly, so I don't need to go into it in more depth, but you know where you can get them now. There's 20 a week from those 2 different difficult dungeons, and then there's 2 per day from Sigma Sector, and there is 1 per day from the Action Plains daily mission, and then there's 5 per week from the ETA Shop. And then the last place that you can get it, supposedly there's a rare chance that it can drop from Action Plains missions. I've never seen one, so it may as well not even exist. And then, because I've done hundreds, if not thousands, of those missions. And then it can drop from Wall Crasher. It's about a 15% chance to get just a random Ancestor mod every single time you do them. So you can just like luck out and get a couple of those as well. Very briefly, because I don't need to go much more into the Ancestor mods, I think. They work the exact same as other mods. They get a random type, and they get a random mastery rank associated with them up to rank 25, and you just need to put this into the slot that has the appropriate catalyst type, as you can see. So like the M would need to go into an M slot. They roll with totally random values. The strength of the Ancestor mod is based off of a stat that is somewhat hidden on the character called its synchronization value. You cannot change this. It is a balancing stat issued by the devs. And so, for instance, if you were to look at Inez, so you saw Serena had like 0.5. If you were to look at Inez, hers is 1.125. So if we look at Inez's, some of these go up to like really insane values. Like you're getting 112% crit damage on a purple roll, whereas you saw in my Serena, I was getting like a 100% on a yellow roll, and yellow is a better roll than a purple roll. They go like gray, blue, purple, yellow, red is the tiers. Red is the best tier. And then you can see the range that would be on it if you have that one UI option enabled in the gameplay options. So these are just totally random what you get. You can't influence it in any way. You would just, as I said before, I don't know why I clicked off of that. I probably should roll one of these anyway. I can just show you the rolling process. This one's actually kind of okay, but I'm trying to find one that's garbage. Here we go. This one's garbage. This doesn't matter. Like I said in the other video, you can click it and you're not going to get whatever that is. So as you can see, I selected +2 -1, which has the widest range of rolls that you can get. And I still just got +3. So it doesn't matter what you pick on this left side. This one provides the largest roll ranges. This one provides the next largest roll range. And then after that, it's 3. And then it's, I believe it's 2. Oh, no, it's 2 and then 3. My bad. What I mean by roll ranges is like how high it can go, basically. So crit rate here, it goes up to 225 on the 3. And it goes up to 371 on the 2 -1, 263, and then 300 on the +2s. So I guess +2 is actually better than doing a +3 -1. So basically, yeah, it's this, 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 this. But you can't influence it. You can reset these. However, as of this point, the material that you need for this is an event only. So think before you use them. It only takes 1 every time. It doesn't increase in value, but the things that you need to actually re-roll this do increase in value. So it'll go 5, 10, 15, I think like 25 or something, but it keeps going up every time you do it. Realistically, once you get up to like 7, you can see it's taking like 200 of these for me to do it. So you would never really want to do that. I did that at the beginning when, you know, you just didn't have Ancestor mods for the characters you wanted, or you only had like 1 of them. So you just rolled those to high values, but that's how those work. I think that's everything related to the Ancestor mods. We will be getting some of those as part of the upcoming Dia event. I believe that they are giving us a Okay, we are just guaranteed to get the ones from Dia. I thought that this was a whole Ancestor Mod box. Sometimes you can get the Ancestor Mod boxes. You can see I have 4 of them. It just lets you pick pick one of them to get. So you might get one of those. But otherwise, it's totally random what Ancestor Mods you get. It's just the amount. You just have to like brute force it and just keep doing the stuff that I listed to give you more of them. I believe that answers all the Ancestor Mod questions. You just try to fit them into your build somewhere. They've got a lot of stats. They're your biggest power increase, usually. Unless you're like Serena, because her synchronization value is pitiful. Then they don't really matter that much. I don't know if there's anything else I need to say on that, so I will cut this clip here. And then let me think if there's anything else I even need to talk about in this video. Okay, so I should have said this. I'm moving it into the section using mystery video editing magic. The stuff for rolling the Ancestor mods, these things right here, these are pretty much dropped from everything. The easiest and the best places to get stuff from them, or to get them, is, in particular, this mission is very fast. All of the missions here have the same amount that they can drop. They basically drop like 10, and then you have a small chance to get a jackpot that gives you like 40 or 50. But they only drop from these these like the teeth missions. I don't know, operational area missions. They only drop from these, as far as I'm aware. And so like you wouldn't be able to do this right now and get the cooling units from that. You would have to wait until this one is hot. And these do go in a pattern, by the way. You can find it online, I forget where. But so like you'll know technically what comes after this one. I don't remember what it is. I probably should. If I was a cool person, I'll put it up on the screen using video editing magic so you can see the pattern. But yeah, this one takes like anywhere between like 1 minute if you're really fast to like 3 minutes to do. And then you'll get like 10 of those cooling units from it with the chance to get 40. And then the other places with breach tracking, which was just added. I don't know what mastery level you need to get into this. I think it's like 15 or 18 if I had to take a wild guess. But it does require you to have these dimensional stabilization keys. What I would say is, rather than focusing on this to get the cooling units, probably just go in here once you have like at least 50 of these. You get a lot of them just from doing Wall Crasher yet again. So Wall Crasher has a few things you want to do them for. It's for the trigger mods, it's for the Ancestor mod chance, and it's for those decryption keys. But basically, this breach tracking is it's not super difficult, but it is a longer mission type. It's usually between 4 and 6 minutes for most players to do it. And at the end of it, you can spend any amount of these keys to unlock one of each of these reward types. So you can get each of these. And you can see the lowest you can get from this is a conductive cooling unit is 40. So you could spend 20 keys to get this, and you get the chance to get that many that you see there. And then you can spend another like 20 or 30 keys to get this one, and another 20 or 30 to get this one. It's just however much of them you want to spend. You can't spend like 200 on this. You can only open each one of them once. But it will give you potentially those rewards. And so basically breach tracking is like tied pretty much. It's like barely better than doing this really fast. But if you are not fast at doing this and you're mediocre at doing this, this might be a better way to get the cooling units. So you may just want to go in if your focus is only one of these things. Like maybe you don't need gold. Maybe you don't need whatever parts drop from this. Maybe you just go in and you only clear this and then open this one thing, because you can choose to do that and only spend 20 keys. That is like the last piece of content, I think, that I can talk about. If I remember anything, I will add to the video, but otherwise, that is... Oh, it actually gives pretty good Arche factor tuning XP. I don't know why. That's kind of weird, but okay. Anyways, so the last thing I want to talk about was trigger mods. Yes, here we go. So this little slot here you can get once you get to Axion Plains, I believe. You might be able to do it before that if you get like one of these items from an event or something, the refined Axiom crystals, but otherwise you need something that comes from the Axiom Plains to get them. I don't recall ever getting one of these from an event, so I imagine you just need to be at least Mastery rank 15 and have unlocked the Axiom Plains. You get the material from basically just doing missions, and once you get, I believe, 100 of them, you get to craft this crystal, and I believe it takes like 15 minutes to craft. It's not very long. But once you have one of those, and your character has reached Arche Tuning 14, or sorry, not 14, 40, so that's this thing, and you have prestiged the character 10 times, so that is the crystallization catalyst, so that means that you have gotten up to level 40 10 times and reset them back to level 1 using this item and assigning a socket type. Once you've done that 10 times, once you've satisfied all of these conditions, you get access to the trigger module slot. The trigger modules drop from a variety of sources. You can look up specifically where one of them drops if you want to. There is a pool of them that drops from the missions here. I believe it will show you, I think it has to be one of the, I think it has to be one of these missions with the teeth again, and you get like a bonus reward or something. And I think you can get them from that. Yeah, so 33% chance to acquire trigger module loot. Where you can get a lot of these, and the best source of them is going to be from Wall Crasher. He will give you the most. You can get up to, usually you get around maybe like 6 to like 8 of them every time you kill him, which is every hour, but they drop from a wider pool from him, so some of them are not going to drop from just the regular Axion Plains missions. Like some of them won't drop in here, if I recall. Some of them, for instance, drop in this dungeon, some of them drop in this dungeon, but they're different ones. And then some of them drop from here, but they're all 3 different pools. Wall Crasher can drop every pool, excuse me, of Ancestor, or of Trigger Mod. These don't require a lot of explanation. They're randomly, they're specific things, and they've got tags on them. So you'll notice this one says that I'm using, when attacking with continuous damage type skills, that I inflict arcane infection on the target. So in this case, I basically put a 5-second debuff on them that every second it does 851% skill power damage. Now that's a lot, but that requires your ability to do continuous damage. So you can see that this ability up at the top right, it says continuous damage. That means that this will work with it. Everything sort of has these modifiers. It's like a Path of Exile type system. You can click over here to see which ones will affect your ability. Not all of them will affect your ability. You just need to figure out which ones are good for you. And the roll that it gets is totally random when it drops. It could, yellow, it works the same thing as all the other ones. So blue is like the worst roll, red is better, or sorry, purple is better, and then yellow is the best roll. However, some of them you don't necessarily want the best roll. It's just sort of, most of them, like 98% of them, you want it to be like double yellow or higher. But there are some that aren't like that. Really quick, I can just give you one example, which would be Two-Face. With Two-Face, for instance, you may want to use this as solely a range increase mod, in which case you would want a 20% proc rate on that top thing, because that top thing just, it's a percentage rate that you get one of the buffs below it, so you either get front side or back side. And if it's 80%, then you have an 80% chance to get front side. But say, for instance, that you were looking just to get more range on your build, then you would want a 20% roll on that, so that way it's rolling the range portion of the skill more. But most of them, you just want pure yellow rolls on them. But there are a few niche cases where you don't, that I just figured that I would mention it. All right, that is the end of the video. As far as I'm aware, I don't think I've forgotten anything. If I have, I'll probably just take the video down and re-upload it. I'm not sure. But this is, as stated, or should be, current to like right before the Dia patch, which was in, well, which will be in like 2 days. So it's like it's February 5th, I think. So if things change after that, maybe I'll re-upload something. I don't know, but we'll find out. Just got to see how the game adapts, and once I feel the guide is sufficiently outdated, maybe I'll do another one. So, I hope that you guys enjoyed it if you watched the whole thing, and that's about all I have to say. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope that you enjoy the game. So, see you later.